Hi friends, this is Caitlin. Welcome back to Pink and Main's channel slash fake Facebook page, wherever you are joining from. I am so excited to be back with you on this lovely Tuesday night. We are going to be playing with the July Stamp and Die of the Month. It's not too late. They're still on the website. I'm sure some of you have seen them by now, but as soon as I get my hands on them, I love to share them with you. This one is one of the cutest that I've seen in a long time, just in general of stamps. It's some of my favorite things. Oh, I see Heather checking in. Heather, we haven't seen you in a little bit. I'm so glad to see you in the comments. Yeah, so definitely jump in, leave me a little comment, make sure so that I know you're there. I see Kim checking in. Yeah, we're gonna go back to kind of my tried and true Copic coloring today. I ventured a little bit last week into the world of watercolor. It was fun, but I need some comfort coloring today, I think. And I have thought of a way to use up some of my scraps. If you guys have noticed, this is not all of my scraps, but this is like my working scrap bin. So like as I am creating, when I have a scrap, I tuck it up here. And as you can see, this is getting to be a little much. And the problem is my big actual scrap bin under my desk is very full. I cannot empty that into it. So we're going to make our background out of scraps today. Let me switch us over. I see Maria, Julianne, Anne. So excited to see everybody. There we go. Julianne said she's watching from YouTube tonight instead of Facebook. That is A-okay. So here is a look at the stamp and die of the month. Tell me that these dragons aren't absolutely amazing. I love them. This is called Hey Hot Stuff. Absolutely perfect. Perfect for summer, spring. He's got coffee, fall, winter. Seriously, like all purpose stamps. Oh, I see Michelle. I see Virginia. Welcome, ladies. Okay, so hot stuff. Hey, hot stuff. We have the coordinating dies. I like to take my packaging that my stuff comes in. I cut off the tops. I cut off the bottom, and then I just slide them both into the same packaging so that I have everything all in one spot. So if you order these, just know they're going to come in two separate packages. You'll be like, well, that's weird. Why don't they look like that? Yeah, so these are our sweet little friends for today. We're just going to be starting out with one of these. I have the little one that's reading the story here. Oh, those glasses. And I was thinking, I decided it's not on the product list that's above or below this video, wherever you're watching from, because I just thought of it as I was turning everything on. But we're going to add some of the touch of gloss to the glasses tonight, I think, once everything is done, because I think that's going to take it from like a 10 out of 10 cuteness to like a 12 out of 10 cuteness. So I dug through my little scrap bin and I found that I had quite a few of these baby pink and white and this brown and white. So we are going to be cutting these into strips to create our background, is what I'm thinking. So I think we're going to start there. Then we'll get our card base together and then we will color. So I'm going to leave these up here on the side in case as anybody jumps in, they can, so that as they jump in, they can see what we're working with. And what I'm going to do to start my paper piecing, custom paper pattern, whatever we're doing, I'm going to take a piece of printer paper, just like thin, super lightweight printer paper. The die that I'm going to be using to cut this panel out of is from the A2 layering rectangle scallop dies. So it is going to be about 4 3/4 by, come on, a little over 3 1/2. So we're going to just cut this to be 5 by 4, just to make it easier on myself. I'm having no problem with there being a little bit extra because these are already scraps. We're already saving paper here. So we'll say, sorry, 5 by 4. Hey, Connie, thanks for joining. Oh, that was a silly thing to do. Okay, I'm going to keep my paper trimmer out. We're going to start trimming down these paper pieces. So I think I'm going for like a 3/4 of an inch. Let's start with that and see how that goes. And I'm just going to kind of like loosely place this on my paper so that as I cut these, I can determine if anything needs to be cut more than once. I'm sure I could just math this, but I'd really rather not. We've talked about that before. If I can avoid getting math in my crafting, I will. So 3/4 inch pieces. We're definitely going to need a couple repeats, I think. Definitely don't want those two next to each other. Okay. So have this guy. I think we're going to need one more of each pink. Let's get polka dot. And we might have to mix these up a little bit because I don't want polka dots next to each other, and I don't want, if I can help it, I don't want the like, it's not plaid, but whatever this pattern is, I don't want those next to each other either. So maybe polka dot, fabric-y. What's that like? It's almost like a burlap, like it's a really loose weave. I might have to cut up. I still have plenty of the browns, so if one of those has to get changed, it is what it is. And then polka dot. That one. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring in like one more of these, I think, instead of, because then we can do a polka dot on the side, and it's like an actual pattern, but I'm very fine with that. Again, just trying to use up some of these scraps. So you guys let me know, or is anybody else out there like a scrap, have like an actual scrap hoarding issue? Because when I tell you that there's a lot, I really mean that there's a lot. And they're just tough, right? Because not everything it's not easy to just use up my scraps. Unless I'm making my own pattern like this, I don't do a lot of paper piecing, and I think that has a lot to do with it. So I am using a little bit of tape runner just because it'll be less messy. I know myself, and I know that I will apply too much liquid glue to this if I'm not careful. So I am just using some tape runner and lining up my papers. Virginia said she used to be a scrap hoarder, but she has reformed. Julianne, I do have a guillotine trimmer. I have it right here. I also, my light's gonna turn off when I do this, just be warned. So I have a Fisker guillotine and I have a Fisker wire. My guillotine has been having issues tearing paper lately, and some people said that I could go get it sharpened. Somebody said I could like exchange it. Honestly, in the priority list of the things that I need to do in my life recently, I have not remembered. There's like not even any other explanation. That's literally just it. And I'm sure that you guys can relate, right? We all have those times, like my light, for instance, that has been giving me issues for weeks, and I have not addressed it. And now it won't turn on. Okay, we'll just move this one closer, and it's fine. Hey, Angie. Oh, Kim, you got to donate all of your scraps? That's a great idea. That's what I should do, is just give mine to my girls and let them go crazy. I used to try to like organize them by color and general size, and it's just gotten, I make so much stuff. I'm on, obviously, I work with Pink and Main, but I'm on a few other design teams. And up until June, I was actually on two more than I'm on now. And sometimes with the turnaround, I just like don't, my brain does not have time to sort through um, scraps. Like I just want to create, I don't want to have to dig. Right, Heather, that's me too. I'm like, I feel like throwing them out is so wasteful because I know I can use them for something. I guess the issue is just, will I? Now this last one's not going to be completely adhered onto the printer paper, but that's fine. I'm just using this to help me hold everything generally in place. I'm not looking for perfection on my printer paper because we're going to use the die to cut this out anyway. And I'll just use that. But at least now, right, I'm going to throw these out because they're too small for me. If you had more patience than me, you could probably make something else. But I feel so much better throwing this little bit out than all of this. Oh, that hurts. Okay. So here is my stitched rectangle die. We are going to line that up center-ish as close as I can get it and take a little bit of tape. Oh, Angie said she's got scraps coming out of her ears. Angie's my type of lady, I think. Me too. Me too, Angie. At least I know I'm not alone. And I've seen people, I've tried to ask for like advice from people on how to store scraps, how to organize them. I think the problem is I just need to let some go. I have so much pattern paper in this house that realistically, I'm never going to be able to use all of it and all of my scraps because I also know myself and then I'm not going to stop ordering. When a new pattern paper comes out that I love, I know I'm going to get it. And I'm running out of room of where to even keep those. So these long ones, I am going to keep a little longer, just because, you know, that's like a whole card front basically. But yeah, so now we have on our printer paper our sweet little pattern. This would make a great baby print. Just throwing that out there. If anybody is making a baby shower card, these are some good prints to go with. Let's cut out a piece of pebble cardstock. That's going to be our main layer. What are you? You're already 5.5. How convenient. So 5.5 by 4.25. I do keep all of my pebble scraps. Like this was a pebble scrap too. That's going to be perfect for sentiment. Virginia said that's her too. She's never going to stop ordering. So at least we're self-aware, Virginia. All right, we're going to go in with our easy squeeze glue on the back of our pebble cardstock. Oh, Heather says she stores hers in pouches that are similar to Pink and Main's, and she sorts them by color and then has one for like patterned, probably like multi-paper. That is such a good idea. I feel like almost all of mine are pattern paper. I don't use I'm gonna try to use this guillotine really quick. We'll see if it tears it. I don't use a lot of solid cardstock. And when I do, I feel like it's easier for me to use up really quickly. Well, it didn't tear, so that's good. Pebble, like the neutrals, craft cardstock is really the main one that I use as a solid, and maybe black. But most of my other accent pieces are pattern. Right? Heather said the tricky part's remembering to actually look there first. 100%. 100%. That was me when I knew I wanted to play with these dragons, and I was like, well, what kind of background am I going to use? Maybe I can use a pattern. I had to like actively think, check your scraps first. Look through your scraps first. Don't just grab a whole new sheet. All right, so that is our card base started. We'll stamp and add our sentiment on here in a little bit. That to the side. We have our sweet little dragon. There we go. And I did pull my Copics earlier. We're gonna color this little, we'll say she's a girl. For me, she's gonna be a girl. We're gonna paint her up really sweet pink. You know what? I did decide I want to lay in some undershadows first because the RVs I'm gonna use are pretty light. So we'll see how that works. So I'm gonna go in with my W5 first. And I'm going to add a little shading to one side of the top of the head. We're going to skip the glasses. We're going to come under the chin. We're going to come under the glasses on the bridge of the nose. On the neck and down the one side. I think those are her arms. So we're going to go under the hand and then at the elbow. We'll come on this top part, kind of in that webbing of the wing. On her little bum. And then very lightly on the bottom part of the feet. And that's just because my light shade I'm sorry, my darkest shade is still relatively light. So I'm going to go in with the RB04 and we're going to go right over that. We're not trying to blend out, we're mostly just layering. And I'm going to fill in where that shadow would have been inside the glasses. This is kind of like how when I'm coloring a Caucasian skin tone, we go in with that E04 that has like that purpley undertone first. It's the same concept. I'm just trying it out with a stronger gray color. I actually contemplated using the E04, but I kind of wanted to experiment with this and see what happened if we used a gray. All right. So there is our RV04. Oh, Angie, thank you. Angie said she's been learning so much about coloring. That makes me so happy. I love coloring. I feel like coloring was sent into my life at a very important time. So anytime I can pass on any of the stuff that I've learned, I will definitely try, Angie. So I'm going in with RV23 and kind of putting my marker where that darker pink is and pulling it, flicking it inward. I'm going to leave a little highlight on the center of the forehead and then right on the center of the eyes and right below the nose. We're going to go ahead and fill in this part of the neck and the wing. I'm going to leave the belly out for now, just because I'm not positive what I want to do. Okay, and then I'm going to take my lightest shade, which is the RV10, which is very light. And we're going to fill in. And this is, that 23 has just the slightest bit of like an extra corally touch to it. So I'm just going to really make sure that I'm overlapping these so that I get a nice transition. And you know what, we'll just go ahead and do, there we go, those edges of the wings, the belly, and the pads of the feet with that light. That's cute. So there is our little pinky purple dragon. She's so sweet. We are going to give her brown horns, brown glasses, and a brown book. So I'm just going to run a little bit of E25 on the edge of the horns and then right around the nose and in the corners on the outside. We'll jump back and do her book separate because I just don't want these colors to all dry. So my medium is going to be 23. So we went 25 to 23. And for these, honestly, that's probably more than enough. We'll bring in 21 when we do the book. I just wanted her to kind of have some like, not necessarily tortoiseshell, but some brown funky glasses. All right, for the book, we're going to add our shading with that 25 as our darkest again on either side of the binding. And then I like to make a second layer, kind of pulling that color out. And I want the shading to be thicker at the bottom because the top part is leaning closer towards us. So the bottom part would be pushed further back. It would be more in shadow. We'll add just a little bit under her hands and maybe just a tiny little sliver along the binding itself. And I'll switch to the 23. Start blending that out. And I tried to pick browns that went pretty well with those scrap pieces that I used, but whatever's gonna work will work, whatever you have. So now to about 21. I'm gonna start with my marker now on the outer edge where there was no color and flick inward. That's gonna help give that smoother transition. So if you started here on the dark color, that ink is gonna kind of push that dark color away. Where this way it'll kind of, as you're releasing pressure as you move over that deeper color, it'll kind of allow them to melt together a little more. And I'm going to take just the lightest touch of that over the book pages, and that'll be enough for the pages. I do want to bring in our pink one more time on the book, so I'm going to add the RVO4 to that binding, and then we're going to add a little bit to the center of the flower. We'll go in with the 23, kind of just making like little circles, and then our RV10 to fill in those petals. I also grabbed BG11, and I'm going to add just a tiny wash of that to the glasses. That same W5 that I used for my undershading, I'm adding to the bottom of my rocks. Then we'll go in with W01, or sorry, W1 to fill those in. And last thing, I grabbed a light G. This is G43, kind of a muted, it's called pistachio. It's just this like a little bit softer green. Doing some flicks over the grass and then the little part of the grass that she's sitting on. Here we go. So we'll add the touch of gloss to her glasses once she's in place, because I'm a mess and I'll get it everywhere. If you had time and you weren't live on the internet, you could also add it, put it to the side, let it dry for a half hour, and then cut it and add it, no problem. But alas, here we are. So I'm going to take my coordinating die. We're going to get her situated. I have my little tape from earlier that I saved. That's the other thing, just like my scraps, I try to save my tape scraps and reuse them as many times as possible. Right, let me run that through my file cutting machine. Oh my goodness, she's so cute. All right, and then we need to get this sentiment figured out. I need Michelle to bring out a dark brown. I love that so much. A dark brown pink for stamping my sentiments, right? Because the hot pink, the dress shop ink is going to be way too. I guess we'll just do it in black. That'll be okay. I kind of love how this looks with her like sitting on top, but it seems just like a little bit thick. So the sentiment I'm going to use, sorry I didn't say this earlier, is the Hours is my favorite story. So cute. I also like the Euroclass Act, and the Hey Hot Stuff is cute in general. But for these two, I love the Hours is my favorite story. And that's, I mean, it can be romantic, but honestly, that feels like it could be for anybody, right? Anybody that you love. So Julianne, that is a great question. There is a new release coming out this week. It comes out on Friday. So today I'm sharing with you the stamp and die of the month, but later this week on Thursday, we will be doing a true proper sneak peek with a new release. It's exciting stuff. I don't want to say all the things. There's a little bit fewer stamp sets, but there's a lot of products coming. That is what I can tell you for right now. I think my light is officially for real dead. Okay, hopefully that's bright enough, you guys, and I'll order something to come before Thursday. All right, so I'm taking my asphalt ink pad, barely tapping it onto my stamp, and then just running my finger over that with the Missy door closed. If you press really hard, these inks are so juicy, these stamp pads, that they will squish out and go crazy. So the lighter the pressure you can manage, the better. Put that back in there so I don't lose it. So I did not stamp my sentiment all the way at the top of the strip because I know that I want to place my dragon on the top edge, but I still do want to trim this down a little bit. So I'm going to line it up with the 3/4 inch mark, just like our rest of our strips, and try that out and see how that looks. I kind of want it like between two patterns though. Oh yeah, I love that. I think that's perfect. All right, so we're gonna adhere our sentiment strip flat, but our dragon popped up on foam because I can. So I'm just trying to take my time to make sure side to side that this looks nice and even, and then pretty straight. Hey D. And then my thumb is in here somewhere. Maybe, no, it's definitely in here. I have a little like shelf right under my desk, and that's where I keep all my stuff. But sometimes all my stuff is a lot of stuff. It's hard to find what you need in there. I think I just need like one solid day to declutter my craft supplies at this point. All right, so we added our foam. Thanks, Virginia. I never remember to ask. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying this, you can always give a thumbs up. Make sure that you're following Pink and Main wherever you are watching from. It'll help the algorithm to push out our content to even more people like us who will enjoy, in theory, hanging out with us. All right, so before I add the touch of gloss, this is where we're at. So cute. Ours is my favorite story. Oh, I love her. But I am going to go in with the touch of gloss. And what I like to do is to kind of add a little dollop right, of the touch of gloss. And then without squeezing at all, I'm just kind of doing little tiny circles and moving that product right up to the edge of that area. So I have not pressed it, like I'm not squeezing at all. The kind of like liquid water tension will happen where a little bit will kind of come out on the end. So you can see, let's see, there we go with the light, that shine of that glass versus not. It's not super crazy dramatic, but I don't think it needs to be. I think it's just like one extra little fun, cute thing you can do that takes 2 seconds and just brings everything together. So in the moment, it looks a little cloudy, but it dries completely clear. And yeah, I just love those little glasses, that high shine, and we got to use up some of our scraps. So that is our card project finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was super fun. Um, I will be back on Thursday with a sneak peek at the new release that comes out on Friday. There we go. So make sure that you set a calendar reminder and alert to come hang out with us Thursday night. I'll be back here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern as usual. If you have any requests for techniques that you would like to see done, definitely let me know. Go check out the Pink and Mane blog. That is listed in the links above or below this video, depending on where you are watching from. The design team will be posting sneak peeks all week. So there'll be even more sneak peeks. There'll be even more fun, creative ideas going on over there on the blog. So make sure that you go check that out as well. My blog post will be up tomorrow, and then I'll see you back here on Thursday. Thank you guys so much. I love seeing how active you guys are in the comments and talking to each other and answering each other's questions. Angie, you made my whole week. I just love knowing that you guys are like not only having fun here, but actually learning something. um, I don't claim to be a teacher. I hope to just be here to inspire, but if I can inspire you to color in a way that gives you results that you like, it makes my heart happy. So thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I will see you back here on Thursday. And until then, I hope you guys have an amazing week. And as always, happy crafting.